Lon Chaney, the man of 1,000 faces, not to be confused with his Wolfman son. Lon Chaney was the silent film era's biggest character actor. Of course, history is forgotten. If you have seen a photo of him, it's probably a still from him playing Quasimodo in The Hunchback of Notre Dame, or the Phantom in The Phantom of the Opera, his two most famous roles. Chaney was famous for playing any character that the studios would throw at him, though. You don't get a nickname for having 1,000 faces if you only have 2 or 3. He was the star of MGM's first ever produced film. He would do his own makeup and almost always his own stunts. Lon Chaney was committed to his craft in a way that few ever are. Fitting then that one of silent film's biggest stars was raised by deaf-mute parents. Yes, that's true. His maternal grandparents actually opened one of the first schools for the deaf in the United States, and both his parents, as well as his stepmother, were deaf-mutes. His mother later suffered from rheumatism, so she almost always communicated solely through her eyes. Chaney grew up learning how to communicate through facial expressions and movement, which is conveniently the exact way that you act in silent film. It's really the only way to communicate plot, emotions, feeling, whatever, in silent films. He didn't start out in films, though. Chaney wanted to be a theater actor, and he started doing work in vaudeville performances and theater troupes. After a scandal involving his then-wife's attempted suicide, Chaney was forced to quit theater, and he tried to make it as a film actor. When he finally made it as a film star, he always played character roles. His time in vaudeville and theater, as well as just sheer talent, made him great with makeup and acrobatics. In fact, of his aforementioned 1,000 faces, Chaney's responsible for the makeup behind all of them. Being raised by deaf-mute parents in the 1880s, it's easy to understand that Chaney was an outsider as a child. He spent the first several years of his life as a mute, not because of any disability of his own. It was just a byproduct of his surroundings. His favorite roles, ones he pushed to get, were playing marginalized characters that were good people. He optioned the Hunchback of Notre Dame himself, feeling Quasimodo would be a perfect character for him to play to propel his career. And he couldn't have been more right. He found that even if the audiences were scared by his appearance, they could empathize with them. It was his own way to try to make society understand that these people weren't bad, they were just human beings. This shred of humanity existed in all of the roles that he played, though. Check out this scene from Phantom of the Opera. Lon Chaney's character goes from maniacal, to frustrated, to ashamed, to vulnerable, back to back to back. Ray Bradbury once said that he was someone who acted out our psyche. Chaney only ever made one sound film, a remake of an earlier work of his, The Unholy Three, where he voiced 5 characters. Tragically, and almost poetically, Lon Chaney died suddenly of throat cancer just at the beginning of the sound era.
That's about enough for you, Tommy. Well, that ought to be enough for the Senate.
Most of his work no longer exists today. Much of his earlier work wasn't very notable, so after they were done screening, the studios would recover the silver from the reels. However, even many of his larger roles are lost to time as well. In 1967, a fire in a Universal Studios vault destroyed many of the only remaining copies of his classic films. Like I said in the beginning, history is forgotten.